This year marks 75 years of Comhaltas Ceoltóirí Éireann. From humble beginnings way back in 1951, Comhaltas has grown into a global organisation across 22 countries, promoting Irish music, song and dance. Here in Clare, the county has played a vital role over the years in shaping the Comhaltas journey. Clare FM's Daragh Leamy spoke with Labhrás Ó Murchú, Ardstiúrthóir of Comhaltas Ceoltóirí Éireann, about this significant anniversary.
Labhrás, Májin Mach, Conasatatu. This is a very big year, and it's a remarkable milestone. What was the defining achievements of Comhaltas since it began back in 1951?
Well, I suppose if you look back at 1951, our Irish cultural traditions were at an exceptionally low ebb at that particular time. And as you know, it was only a few decades after the War of Independence. Many of our aspirations hadn't yet been achieved. There was a mass exodus from the country. And when a small group of people came together in Mullingar in 1951, they discussed where we were in terms of culture, music, song, dance and language, and the general opinion was that if something wasn't done at that particular time, it mightn't be able to make progress and mightn't be easy, say 10 years or 20 years later. So yes, there were good people and there were people who were focused. So I think the first achievement was to set up a movement like Comhaltas Ceoltóirí Éireann. The second one was to identify what was still alive of those cultural traditions, how they could be nurtured and how they could be protected, and eventually how they could be promoted and enhanced. And they realized that education was the key, and in the very first minutes of Comhaltas Ceoltóirí Éireann, it is stressed that classes were necessary if we were to pass on that music and song and dance and language to the next generations. And I think that was the greatest achievement, that they pinpointed exactly what the first steps had to be.
That's very true. And I suppose County Clare, I think it's fair to say that County Clare has played a huge role in the journey of Comhaltas. I mean, for example, Ennis hosted the All-Ireland FLA in the 1950s and 1970s, and even Scoil Éigse, now known as Willie Clancy, also started during that period. I mean, how significant was Clare with promoting traditional music and song and dance during that time?
As I look back on the records, Clare would have been the first county to come, or one of the first counties to come on board with the new movement, and that was vital because that was a practical step forward. But we also knew that the goodwill was there and the support was there, but more important, that the traditions we're talking about were still living traditions in that county. And if you look back over the years and see the progress they also made in passing on the music and the song and the dance to new generations. So there you had a template, you had an example, and as you rightly said, Fleadh Ceoltóirí Éireann went to Clare, and again you could see that it was very much anchored in that county. And then the FLA Nua, of course, is one of the highlights on the Comhaltas calendar over a 9-day period. So yes, Clare was certainly an example, and they were a beacon as well of hope for us, and there is no doubt it would be very much acknowledged and highly regarded in the history of Comhaltas.
Now, of course, Comhaltas, as we all know, is not just here in Ireland, it's global around the world, 22 countries. I remember being over in Brussels myself last year, and I visited the Brussels Comhaltas branch, and it's great to see such interest and enthusiasm with the Irish culture. Even people from Brussels who are not of Irish descent are taking up our culture. I mean, that's something positive, isn't it?
Yes, and as I mentioned there earlier, there's mass exodus from the country, but bear in mind that those people brought their traditions with them, and particularly in the countries of their adoption. What was important there is that they had a touchstone where they could meet, and particularly the music was particularly strong. And among the very first branches of Comhaltas, you could see Glasgow and you could see Liverpool. Branches took root there, and then after a while, over 50 years ago, Comhaltas took root in America. But what's important at this juncture is that in the 25 countries, and it looks like that will be up to 30 by the end of the year, in many cases, there might be no Irish involved. So you look at the branch in Tokyo, that's one of the strongest branches we have. And I remember at Fleadh Ceoltóirí Éireann in Ennis, we had 2 Céilí bands from Tokyo, and for the first time ever, both of them got a standing ovation. Now, you expect it throughout North America, you expect it in Australia, you expect it in Britain, but now we look at South America, and you have Chile, and you have Argentina, you have Colombia, but then we also have Moscow, and we have China. There's something of a cultural revolution in what's happening at the moment, and I think where all our stars are coming together, and that's why the 75th celebration is happening, to remind ourselves of the journey, of the challenges, of the ups and downs, of the achievements, but then looking at where that brought us, just because a small group of people considered this in 1951. But I genuinely believe there are great things in store over the coming decades.
That's great to hear, and this is such a significant year for Comhaltas, 75 years. I'm sure there will be many events to mark this anniversary, and I know a few of the local Comhaltas branches here in County Clare, some have celebrated this anniversary. My own branch of Dura Bearfield held a concert there recently.
Wonderful.
What have Comhaltas in store to celebrate the anniversary during the All-Ireland Fleadh?
Oh, yeah, that's going to be very significant. Well, first of all, it's the All-Ireland Fleadh, and then, of course, as well as that, being Belfast, it's historic. Nobody could have foreseen this years ago. So there's a core number of programmes, items within the main Fleadh that will be celebrating the Seacht de Chuaig Bliain Fós, the 75th. And we're finding a great acceptance of that. We have quite a number of awards based on the 75th as well to highlight it. We've also launched and raised our new flag over the last weekend, which is very much a global representation of where we are. And then, of course, the Fleadh Nua has a lot of 75 celebration built into their programme. So virtually every branch, every county board, every Fleadh Ceoil, county, provincial, all of them will have a Seacht de Chuaig Bliain Fós. And of course we have 2,000 classes every week. And again, that's going to be part of it. But when you think that Fleadh Ceoltóirí Éireann in Wexford attracted 800,000 people, there will be at least that number in Belfast from all over the world and all parts of Ireland. Belfast is a particularly good city, great venues, great traditional music already there, and all political parties have signed up to it without exception. So I would expect that message has gone out and that there will be an unexpected large attendance at that as well. And the main thing it'll be all about music on the streets, music in our hearts, music in the big events, etc. And I think there's going to be a social message going with that. It's everyone's flower without exception. Everybody can display their wares, their culture, their traditions, and I think that will be the big message that will come out of Belfast and possibly will be the most significant aspect of Seachta Cúig Bliain Fós.
One final question to finish off, Labhrás. Of course, you've referenced Fleadh Nua, a significant event here in the Banner County. That'll be taking place at the end of this month, so preparations are well underway for it. You will be attending the Fleadh Nua this year. You'll be there.
I will be at the official opening and some of the launching events as well. And I would like to pay a tribute to Frank Whelan,
yes,
Rory Casey, and all the others, a mighty medal of volunteers. And again, it's going to be another highlight of Seachta Cúig Bliain Fós. And given that Ona comes from Kilmaley, they tell me I'm an honorary Clare man at this stage, so I'll be looking forward to it, Daragh, as well.
Oh, good. Well, we're delighted to claim you as a Clare man, so we are, Labhrás. We're delighted. Listen, Labhrás, Gurav Mila Mahagut, it was a pleasure talking to you, and thanks so much for joining us on the programme.
Gurav Mila Mahagut, agus balo ye nubber. Slán.
Labhrás Ó Murchú there with Daragh Leamy.